So, you want to survive a modern Minecraft zombie apocalypse, more specifically the last days of humanity Modpack, which is arguably one of the more tougher mod packs to survive. Well, I'll tell you something, that's what I'm about to do. Am I gonna survive the end goal of this mod pack, which is to survive 100 days while facing waves of monsters that become harder as time goes by? No. But I will tell you 50 rules that I've made throughout my experience, so you don't have to go through as much pain and suffering that I had to go through for many hours.
Hello? Hello? Okay, I think I got the drone camera working. Seems to be a bit buggy for some reason. But hey, at least it worked.
Alright, so I will now get into what happened on my first attempt. Wait, you thought I survived long enough to make 50 rules on my first try? Well then here's your first rule for you. Break one of these rules and no first try for you. Probably. With that out of the way, I spawned in a decimated wasteland where I immediately came across the first actual rules I was brought upon in this world. Rule 2, don't take unnecessary fights. These zombies are very slow at the beginning, so no need to waste your precious bullets because you might have some kind of grudge towards them that was attained by vengeful spirits that fell during the start of the apocalypse. I keep telling you that they're voices in your head, gonna scream and shout, we want them dead. No. You can't risk taking damage here because that could be fatal and you're not gonna exactly heal normally. Instead, focus on rule 3 and 4, do the basics and gather supplies. There's a lot of buildings filled with loot that are necessary in order for you to survive. Just don't pick the one that's on fire. Rule 5, watch out for fires. I went over to a pond in order to mine some cobblestone, but that's when I found a very interesting mechanic that I initially didn't know was there. Rule 6, don't go under supported blocks. I then went over to a house that was occupied by a group that was called the Blue Team. These people could possibly be your great ally or your worst enemy. However, their house seemed kinda barren of supplies, and I found that one of them had killed some kind of infected boar that dropped the plague pork chop. Now that certainly is telling me that I shouldn't really eat it. Rule 7, avoid eating obvious bad food. Oh, and while we're on the topic of avoiding things, Rule 8, avoid dark places without a torch. You're not gonna be able to see anything when it's that dark. I continue my journey across the barren wasteland, searching for any loot that could be scavenged. Though you have to be careful when going into any sort of shelter to look for supplies. Hordes of zombies could surround you before you even realize it. Keep in mind rule 9 and 10, block the paths your enemies follow and always have an escape path if you don't want to get overrun. After my grand escape out of the tower, my consumption speed and the value of when I eat rotten flesh was greatly reduced for some reason. And yes, I know that's technically breaking rule 7, but I argue that rotten flesh is a good source of food to burn through instead of wasting actually good food in Minecraft. However, in this case, some kind of mod is preventing me from doing that, and although I didn't know what was exactly happening at the time, a new rule was soon to be established in the later attempts. With a flint and steel made at the bottom of a giant crevice in order to light the torch, I was ready to venture into a cave to mine some iron ore. Actually, never mind. Rule 11, you ain't gonna mine very deep. With mining out of the question, I explored an abandoned mineshaft. Inside were chests and zombies, but more importantly, a little glitch that is found quite often in these mod packs. Rule 12, unintended torches. Now, remember my explanation of Rule 2 right after the souls about how you don't heal normally? Well, that's because this mod pack has a first aid mod, which allocates your hearts to different parts of your body. And the places where you have to be the most careful of is your head and the body, because if one of those loses all their hearts, you die. Rule 13, protect your vital parts. Also, damaging other parts of your body is going to give you some serious debuff, like your feet, which I've been carelessly taking fall damage for the past 22 minutes, so now I have slowness. Rule 14, watch your step. There is natural healing when you keep your hunger bar full, but it's very slow and in times of need, medical supplies are your friend. Rule 15, bandage up. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Okay, I know we're on our second reminder here, but remember rule 4, gather supplies? Well, guess what? There's only so much supply gathering you can do before your way of a nomad life is pretty unsurvivable. In a couple days, you'll find yourself running out of supplies because buildings aren't exactly the most common thing, having no inventory space, and accumulating damage for the amount of times you decide to jump out of the second floor of the house. It becomes quite a miserable life. So it's time to bring out the next step. Rule 16, build a sustainable base. And after having the satisfaction of dumping all your stuff into a chest, it's time to do what our ancestors did during the Neolithic Revolution. Create a farm, and what better crop to do it than with potatoes? Rule 17, agriculture. My AP World History teacher would be proud, who is also Technoblade, that taught us about Americas. As night fell, I remained nicely settled in my new home. Ah, well this is nice, I thought to myself. Maybe I should take a look outside and let a zombie in just waiting outside my door. Rule 18, check before you open doors. This is when things started to go downward very fast. You know, I'm not sure why I didn't find a more fortified buildings than just some regular house. I guess because I didn't expect a horde of zombies to surround me before day 10. Well, Keanu, what happens on day 10? Great question that I'm going to avoid for a couple more attempts. All you need to know right now is that I was wrong. Now, I could have tried to escape from the situation, but I made 2 mistakes. Rule 19, always have your gun reloaded, and Rule 20, don't get sandwiched. And so, that was how I lost my first run. Well, I survived longer than I thought. 20 rules in just 2.5 days, not bad at all. Actually, should I be proud of that? Like, 70% of those rules were my mistakes, and were they even quality rules? How many are just filler rules that I decided to put in, and is my second attempt gonna be better than my first attempt? Don't you just hate it when the floor is made out of wooden slabs instead of planks? So this attempt started like no other, except having a traumatizing flashback of zombies raiding my home during the first attempt, which caused me to make a wooden button for an iron door ahead of time after seeing that there was a group of zombies just waiting outside the house I wanted to loot. Rule 21, plan ahead. I walked towards another house which had designs I hadn't seen before and decided to eat my only bread because I was feeling a bit hungry. But that's when I saw it. The thing that prevented me from eating rotten flesh and soon other foods right after, which caused insufferable amounts of misery. You know how hard it was to eat a baked potato that gave you just 1 hunger bar? I didn't have a full understanding of what this meant, but the pieces were starting to fall together that would help me survive further in this world. But I'll just put this rule up ahead of time for further foreshadowing. Rule 22, eat smartly. Actually, you know what would be great to have to survive? Bandages. But those can be only found in chests since they require wool and you won't be seeing any sheep around here. But there is cobwebs which you can harvest for string that can be crafted into wool, so with that in mind, rule 23, cobwebs are your friend. As they always say, a friend of a friend is my friend. After going shopping in a very dark supermarket, I went up a wooden tower and got surrounded by zombies. In times like these, you gotta think facts like Dream. Except I'm not like Dream and just stayed put because I had no idea what to do, and you know what usually happens when you freeze up during a dangerous situation. Rule 24, think fast, cause the zombies aren't gonna wait for you to make a decision. 4 times the chart? Nah, cause you know what I decided to do? Ally of the red team right away on my first day. And let me tell you this, before you go off making shady handshakes with strangers, rule 25, choose your allies carefully, especially if you're going to be gathering supplies for the first few days, cause the other team ain't going to be too happy to see you once you made the deal. Attempt 4 was the day when I set foot in the no-no zone, and it was certainly a no-no for me. Now you expect me to make a rule about how you should avoid this place? But there's some pretty important structures in this biome with items that you probably need in order to survive later on. So rule 26, still avoid the no-no zone, just add the giant parentheses that says, "You'll be back, time will tell." By night, I was looking around for a place to stay, but that's when I found an abandoned engineer turret just stationed inside a car, and when I saw it just absolutely destroying any zombies that dared to come near it, I knew that this was something I needed to bring along. Rule 27, don't mess with turrets. After my failed attempt at catching a turret, I escaped into a school building where a bunch of people from the blue team were chilling at the top floor. However, after going through attempt 3, I wasn't exactly too keen on teaming up with them. The zombies soon picked up on our locations and started to slowly climb up. I knew that we wouldn't hold on for long, so with Rule 10 and 21 in mind, I crafted a boat and divided an escape from the rooftop once things got out of hand. Eventually, the zombies started to break through the floor beneath us, which told me it's time to get on the move. Who would have thought that shooting your gun in front of strangers would get a shotgun blasted into your face? Rule 28, don't shoot your gun in front of strangers. So we just went over 4 failed attempts. Each demise is caused by my own mistakes, but what about repeating those mistakes? Look, by now I already have 28 rules under my belt, but that doesn't mean I remember all of them or just straight up ignore sometimes. And that's when we're just gonna skim through the next 3 attempts. Attempt 5 ended by breaking rule 6, attempt 6 ended because I broke rule 20 and 21, and attempt 7 ended the same way as attempt 6, except it happened in the same house that I was in during attempt 1. I'd say that's a pretty good reminder to myself and probably you guys about what happens when you break rule 1. After getting lectured by the very rules I created, I was finally starting to make some progress on attempt 8. Things were pretty rough at the beginning, as I spawned right in the no-no zone where an army of zombies started to chase me right away. There was a campsite near the border separating the 2 lands occupied by the blue team, where I found an iron pike just floating in the pond, probably dropped by one of the dead blue team members. This weapon would serve me well in the next coming days. While sorting out my inventory, I was attacked by an infected boar like the one I saw in attempt 1. This thing nearly killed me and I was forced to use my pistol in order to survive. In the next 2 days, I would begin my usual nomad life and gather supplies as much as possible. However, after speedrunning my demise over the last 3 attempts, I was more alert than ever before. With a bit of luck and being as careful as I could, well, most of the time, Rule 29, watch your back, I was stocked up on supplies, having plenty of food, bandages, and even getting myself a rifle which are found in a cabinet. So make sure to constantly check them aside from the chests. By sunset on day 2, my inventory was pretty much full, which meant it was time to establish a base. Now, from my previous experience, the ground didn't seem too safe against zombies, so this time I aimed for the skies. I climbed up the tall apartment and when reaching the roof, I made a sky base. As I looked around the strangely peaceful area with no zombies at night, I ate my last cornbread before diminishing returns kicked in. Wait, pause, hold on. I have yet to explain what diminishing return means because I didn't know where to put in the script. So we're just gonna push the zombie apocalyptic thing for a minute and explain it. Is this bad script writing that ruins the whole pace of this video? Probably. But at this point in the playthrough, I just paused the game and didn't come back for another 2 weeks, so... Hello everyone, welcome to Kiana's 101 Mod Review, Episode 1. Today we're gonna explore the wondrous mod that makes sure that you're eating expansively. Wait, seriously? Expansively? That's what you put on this flashcard? The Spice of Life mod makes it so that you have to keep alternating between different kinds of food, or else the same kind of food that you eat restores less hunger bars and begins to be consumed at the pace of eating tree bark. Now you do have a grace period which allows you to eat 5 times without any drawbacks, so it's recommended to eat food that gives you the highest amount of hunger bars and saturation, like cornbread. Thank you for joining me on Kiana's 101 Mod Review. Hope to see you next time! Alright, you know what? From now on, I'm gonna properly, commentate. Yeah, this is current me right now. In-game footage me right now, yeah. Thanks, Past Kiana, for reminding me why I'd like to do post-commentary nowadays. 2 weeks have passed since I even touched the Modpack. But I was confident as ever, and decided to explore the apartment because I might have barricaded some noisy neighbors and had the need to sweep them out of the apartment. I also left a handy scope down at the bottom floor. This is my apartment now, alright? Any of you dare to come in my apartment thinking you own This is a scream of fear and surprise, but without the realization of, I could lose this run right here and now. Wait, this zombie's so fast. No! And so I did. Rule 30. Confidence is a good thing, but overconfidence is your downfall. You know, this really upset me at the time. That attempt was probably my best run up to this point, everything was going pretty much perfectly, only to have it end next time I log on because I got 2-shotted by a slightly fast zombie. But hey, I guess that's just the reality of this world, and honestly real life. Rule 31, we're pretty fragile, so it's recommended to play it as though you're doing a no-hit run. Attempt 9 was pretty fire, like literally, so I remember that breaking leaves gave saplings, so I'm guessing this is a way to restore the deserted wasteland. For the Minecraft players whose mission is to restore this world to somewhat normalcy, remember rule 32, leaves are the gateway to nature. Luckily attempt 10 went better. Nope, never mind. How many times am I gonna run straight into a house that's gonna be engulfed in zombies? Then again, my situation wasn't great, so rule 33 desperate times equals desperate measures. But seriously, if you see like a horde that is like 20 blocks away from a house, you should really go rule 34. Wait, no, please don't do that, I just realized what I typed. Before you take a dangerous step, make sure to weigh both the benefit and the consequences. That goes the same for both of the rule 34. And if anyone's confused with what I'm referring to,
don't worry about it.
We also don't need to worry about attempt 11 and 12. On attempt 13, I found myself in front of the apartment building that cost me the run at attempt 8, which fun fact was also where the owner of the Modpack lost his 100 days. So much for that validation of that title, Of course, things aren't gonna go the same way as last time. No, not this side. No, not this side. Not this side. Please. Oh my luck. Yep, not even close. I needed to do a rule 35 after that. Take a breather. By sunset, I decided to try skipping the night by going to bed. Now, this is normally not recommended since you actually don't instantly skip the night, you just speed up time to pass the night, so you're just kind of vulnerable for a bit. But we're pretty high up in the apartment, so I'm sure nothing would hurt me. Ouch. Okay. I take back what I said. Rule 36, trust no one, not even the bed. Oh, no. What is attacking me? Bruh. And so I didn't come back for another 3 days. Hopefully the next time I decide to touch this mod pack, I'll be in a state where I'm calm and as sharp as ever. Hey guys, I have to be a little quiet here because I'm doing this at 1 AM. Yes, playing late at night is the best time to do this, but seriously, if you're like well ahead in the mod packs, then rule 37, don't play at night. You'll be suffering from sleep deprivation, paranoia, fear, though in the case when you have nothing else to lose, like starting from scratch for the past 12 attempts, it might actually help you, because throughout the whole night session, I was pretty on edge. Rule 38, play at night when you got nothing to lose. Gosh, why am I making rules that seem to contradict themselves? I must be really running out of ideas here. Rule 39, make up your mind. You know, whenever I'm trapped in a building, you know what I'm probably gonna do? Because I realized that close combat in a very tight, very narrow building, you know what's probably a good idea? Maybe using my guns. Stick to my guns, I guess. Hey, isn't that my first, I guess, commentary rule? Or, I don't know, man. With the sun setting once again, yet on a new world, I reached the wooden tower that was on the border leading to a sand biome. No, I'm not taking it. At first, I felt I had no choice but to follow Rule 34 if I wanted to keep surviving in this attempt. However, my supply gathering wasn't exactly going ideal, so the few supply buildings that I came across could be crucial. So, did I do Rule 33 in this situation? Not exactly. I can cautiously take out the zombies around the tower, which would eventually give me some leeway to go up and down the tower. So besides taking up a good few minutes clearing out the zombies, I lowered the level of risk in what was originally considered a bit dangerous. Okay, that's nice. Rule 41, find ways to make probability go in your favor. Alright, you know what, I call that a successful venture. With it being well off into the night, I attempted to go down a giant gravel valley in order to reach a house on the other side, though things weren't gonna go smoothly as always. No. Oh my. Oh, that's close. That's really close. I really do not like this. You know the famous saying, I have the high ground? Well, in Minecraft, you generally find yourself better off on the low ground when in combat, and currently the zombies below me felt a bit more intimidating. Rule 42, have the low ground. I decided to take another route, because why risk having zombies bite at your feet when you can just take a detour to no zombie land? Rule 43, got a problem? Find a way around it. I made my ways towards a lighted house, but that's when I saw something that didn't feel very pleasant at the time. What the? A hospital. I don't know why, but that just sent like shivers. Like actual like shivers. Like I said, I was pretty on edge during this whole night session, but for some reason when I saw that hospital for the first time, I got a very bad feeling. When I didn't feel any joy from that. It's like there's probably like really good loot inside, but I feel like it's also like if I go in there, it's probably game over for me. So on the break of dawn, I decided to at least check it out. Well, try to. Where did they go? Rule 44, don't lose your destination zone. Eventually by morning I found it again, but before you venture into something dangerous, make sure to have a water break. Rule 45, stay hydrated. The inside was very dark, and without a torch I wouldn't be able to venture very far, so following Rule 44 I took note of the coordinates. Since I didn't plan on hanging around the area for long, cause I had a feeling this place wasn't very safe. Rule 46, sometimes you gotta trust your gut. In order to counteract the Spice of Light mod, I decided to collect a variety of seeds from these bushes. Pain. Actually pain. Rule 47, don't leave your hand on the trigger. I think that's also a good real life rule when handling a gun. Who said this video can't provide safety tips for the real world? After walking for a bit, I found a small pond near the cliffside where I would establish a permanent base. I made a small farm with the seeds I've collected and then went on a supply gathering around the vicinity. But like diamonds, okay. And iron. I hear zombies though. Aha. Knew it. Rule 48, keep your in-game sounds up. Gotta be careful. When I got back to base, rain started to fall and zombies started to spawn everywhere. For all this time, I would just try to avoid them, but I realized that if I keep letting these zombies spawn, the problem will only get bigger later on. Rule 49, if there's no way around it, fight it head on. This is my territory now. After my zombie massacre ended, I could finally build my base. And yes, I made another sky base, with the goal of making it so high that no zombie could ever spawn near me. I dumped all my stuff in a chest and decided to end it since it was nearly 3 AM and I was tired. And that's the story of me trying to survive the last of humanity Modpack. But wait, Keanu, what's Rule 50 and you still haven't told us what happens on day 10? Well, Rule 50 is ignore Rule 1 because none of these rules are absolute and certainly not all of them are exactly good rules. And about day 10, well, I didn't survive until day 10 like I expected to, and I'm not planning to do so just go watch Spistella's video for the explanation. I've been working on this video for like well over a month, and I'm so done with it. Like and subscribe, bye!